Hey everyone, and welcome back to EnglishUp. Today, we have an amazing story for you. It's the story of a man who failed many times, but never stopped believing in himself. His name is Harland David Sanders, but most people know him as Colonel Sanders, the man on the KFC logo. You see his face everywhere, in restaurants, on boxes, on TV. But few people know the real story behind that smile. It's a story of struggle, pain, and hope. It's about never giving up, no matter how many times you fall. So sit back, relax, and let's go back in time to meet the man who turned fried chicken into a world-famous dream. Harland David Sanders was born in 1890 in a small town in Indiana, USA. He didn't come from a rich family. His parents were simple, hard-working people. When Harland was just 6 years old, his father passed away. His mother had to work in a factory all day to take care of the family. That meant young Harland had to cook for his little brother and sister. He started learning how to prepare simple meals, vegetables, bread, and chicken. At that time, he was just a small boy. But when he cooked, he felt something special inside. He felt happy. He didn't know it yet, but that feeling would guide his whole life. When Harland was 12, he left school to help his family. He never finished his studies. He worked anywhere he could, on farms, in factories, on trains. He was a streetcar conductor, a soldier, a railroad worker, an insurance salesman, and even a lawyer for a short time. But Harland couldn't keep a job for long. He argued with people. He made mistakes. And sometimes, life was just unfair. Every time he lost a job, he had to start again. He failed again and again. But he never stopped trying. He got married. He had children. But life continued to be hard. He was poor, tired, and sometimes felt like giving up. Yet deep down, he believed there was something he could do better than anyone else. He just didn't know what it was. Not yet. When Harland turned 40, he opened a small gas station in Corbin, Kentucky. He sold fuel to travelers who stopped on the road, but one day a traveler said he was hungry. Harland offered to cook for him. He made some fried chicken using his own recipe. The traveler loved it. He told his friends. Soon more people came. Not for gas, but for Harland's food. He started serving people in the back of his gas station. He didn't have a restaurant, just a few tables and chairs. But his chicken was something special. He used a secret mix of 11 herbs and spices. The taste was amazing. Crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside. People from nearby towns came to eat his food. Harland began to believe he had finally found his gift. He opened a small restaurant next to his gas station. He cooked every meal by himself. He talked to every customer, listened to their stories, and made them feel at home. He loved what he did. He worked long hours, but he didn't care. For the first time in his life, he felt successful. People called him Colonel Sanders. It was an honorary title from the state of Kentucky, a way to say he was respected for his hard work and his food. He wore a white suit and a black tie. He looked proud, like a true Southern gentleman. He had finally built something of his own. But life had one more challenge waiting for him. In his 60s, a new highway was built, and it went around his restaurant. Traffic stopped coming through Corbin. His customers disappeared. His business started to die. Soon, he had to close his restaurant. He was 65 years old. He sold everything he had. After paying his debts, he was left with just $105 from his first Social Security check. Most people would have stopped right there. Most people would have said, "It's over. I'm too old to start again." But not Harland Sanders. He decided to start again. One more time. He took his pressure cooker, his secret recipe, and started driving across the country. He went from restaurant to restaurant trying to sell his fried chicken recipe. He offered to cook for the owners. If they liked it, he asked them to give him a small share of the profits. But guess what? He didn't find success quickly. He was rejected again and again. People told him no more than 1,000 times. Imagine that. 1,000 rejections. He slept in his car. He ate very little. He was old, tired, but still full of hope. He said, "There's no reason to be the richest man in the cemetery." He just wanted to make something meaningful before he died. Finally, one restaurant owner said, "Yes." He tried the chicken, and he loved it. Slowly, more and more restaurants joined. They started using his recipe, and they paid him a small fee for each piece of chicken they sold. That's how Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC, was born. By the time he was 75 years old, Colonel Sanders had hundreds of restaurants using his recipe. People across America loved his food. They loved his story even more. He became famous, not for being lucky, but for never giving up. Colonel Sanders became a symbol of hard work and faith. He proved that success doesn't depend on age, education, or perfect conditions. It depends on one thing: never giving up. Even after he sold KFC, he continued visiting restaurants, talking to workers, and meeting customers. He smiled, shook hands, and always said, "Keep doing your best." He lived to see his dream become a global success. Today, there are thousands of KFC restaurants in over 150 countries. And his white suit and friendly smile are still recognized everywhere. And that's the story of Harland David Sanders, the man behind KFC. A boy who lost his father, a man who failed again and again but never stopped believing. He showed the world that it's never too late to start again. That one idea, one dream, and one brave heart can change everything. So, if you ever feel lost, if life pushes you down, remember Colonel Sanders. Because his story tells us something powerful. You're never too old, never too late, and never too small to make a big difference. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep learning, keep believing, and keep improving your English with EnglishUp. See you in the next story.